We welcome you to Pullman, Washington, and inside Bowler Gymnasium, as the Washington State University volleyball team has begun their quest for a trip to a 7th consecutive tournament from the NCAAs, and they have their home opener this weekend as we get ready for the Cougar Challenge. Steve Grubbs welcoming you inside Bowler Gymnasium as we get you ready for Cougar volleyball. The Washington State University Cougars opened up the 2022 campaign last week in Provo, Utah, and they opened things up against the Duke Blue Devils. They lost the opening set but came back to win the next three, and then it was a matchup against the Ryder Bronx, and the Cougars were oh so efficient. They ended up with a program best hitting percentage as they disposed of the Bronx in 3 consecutive sets. The Cougars did ultimately fall to the 10th ranked BYU Cougars, but still 2-1 to open up the 2022 campaign. Now for the Washington State University Cougars, they get set to return home as we get ready for the Cougar Challenge. And for the Cougars, it means 3 matches, 1 here today and then 2 tomorrow as they get ready for this 2022 campaign and look to once again be one of the best in college volleyball. These 2 young ladies will be there to try and help. A lot of experience returning in Pia Timmer and Magda Halasheva. Should be a fun weekend. 4 teams getting set for 6 matches. Our match tonight, followed by 5 more matches a little bit later on throughout the weekend. And that is the Cougar Challenge schedule for this weekend. And we get ready for the Cougars to play their first of what will be 3 matches over the course of the next 2 days. It's Washington State University opening up their home portion of the schedule, and they get ready to take on Cal Baptist. And it's coming up next from Pullman, Washington and Bowler Gymnasium on Pac-12+. Washington State University Cougars as they get ready to take on Cal Baptist here on a Thursday night. It is a three-day tournament where 4 teams are here, and for the Washington State University Cougars, 1 game tonight and then a couple of games tomorrow. Steve Grubbs here along with Catherine as we get you ready for today's volleyball action. The Cougars being introduced to the crowd as far as the starting lineups are concerned. Catherine, the Cougars coming in 2-1 on the season so far, and all in all, a pretty good weekend in Provo last weekend for Washington State.
For sure. The biggest game last weekend was the game against Ryder. That was Coach Jen Greeny's 300th win as head coach, and everybody loves Jen. I mean, she played here as a volleyball player when she was in college, and she's just taken this program to an amazing height. And I think this weekend you're going to see a lot of really, really good plays by our players. And last weekend, unfortunately, we didn't beat BYU, but this weekend, I think we're going to bounce back pretty heavily, and I think it's going to be a really good weekend.
Yeah, you mentioned that Ryder matchup. The Cougars ended up hitting a program best as far as their hitting percentage. Did fall to the 10th-ranked BYU Cougars, but a lot of people have done that, especially in Provo. And you mentioned new heights. How about this? The Washington State Cougars looking for a 7th consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament.
I might be wrong, but I do think that is the longest stretch that any team at WSU has had going to the tournament. And this team has just been so incredible to watch for the last couple of years. I mean, Magda and Pia and Carly, I mean, they're all just so talented. And it's been so cool to see them continue to rise. And I really think this season is going to be a really good one. There's a couple of really good teams that are coming up in their schedule, and they're gonna be really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, you look at that wall on the right side as we look at it at Bowler Gymnasium 5 times, and part of that was when, oh, by the way, Jen was a player at Washington State. They went to an NCAA tournament, but you're right. First time in program history, they made it 6 consecutive trips to the NCAA tournament, now trying to make it 7. The other thing that's really interesting about this group is, again, you've got players that you should be familiar with if you've covered college volleyball and Washington State volleyball. Magda Halasheva, Pia Timmer, but there's also a couple of new players here as well.
Yeah. We have a new setter, Argentina Ung, who's, in my opinion, done a phenomenal job stepping in so far. And I think first serve's about to start.
We are ready to go. Cal Baptist will have the first serve as we get things underway. Pia Timmer from the back row trying to finish one off, but now it'll be Cal Baptist sending it back to the Cougar side of that. There's one of the newcomers, Laurie Johnson from the Netherlands. a grad transfer, and how about this? Almost 1,100 kills in her career before coming to Washington State, and so she's got some of that veteran experience.
I saw that. She was at the University of Arkansas, I believe, for a little bit. No, for her freshman through senior year. And I think it's really cool that we have her here to for her 5th year, and I'm really excited. And there she goes again.
There she is, an overpass, and she took care of it. Really, the question for her after coming in from Arkansas Little Rock is, would it translate to Pac-12 competition? And so far, the coaching staff, they've been more than impressed with what they've seen out of Laurie so far.
Jen Greeny and her recruiting staff never seems to, they are so amazing finding players that come into this program, fit right in, and are able to compete at the Pac-12 level. And I think this team is really, really talented, and they're pretty stacked when it comes to talent. So I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Pac-12.
Cal Baptist getting their first point. It's 2-1 Washington State here, opening set, and there's Laurie Johnson again. She's been the player so far for Washington State. 3 kills and 4 swings so far. Meanwhile, their opponent, California Baptist, 1-2 to start off the season. They were at a tournament at Charleston Southern, got a victory over the hosts, and did hit .337 in that victory. So they come in 1-2 with Washington State at 2-1 so far. Here's the next serve that'll be delivered over by Julia Norville, and now it'll be a tip over by Yahalasheva. And now the set to the outside, and that one's going to miss long, but there was a touch, so it'll be a side out to California Baptist. But another young lady that's been in this program for quite a while, Julia, checking in there to serve, and one of those pieces, especially in the back row and at the service line, that's been so critical for Washington State, and again, brings that experience that the Cougars want.
For sure. I think she's a great server, great passer, and I don't think there's a bad combo for this team. I think they all work together so well, and it speaks for itself. I mean,
we've got a challenge here from Jen Greeny on that last call. The officials ruled a touch, and Jen was deciding with her coaching staff whether or not to try and challenge it or not, as they were looking to see if there was a touch or not. So again, it's as we sit 3-2, we will see if that call gets overturned. Our officials for tonight's game, up in the chair is Paula Martin. Linda Kildew is over at the bench right now going through the video footage. Of course, you see the referees in 2022, as they have now for the last few years, with the microphones so they can communicate with one another. So Linda can relay that on to Paula for what she sees. Of course, one thing here, obviously, is they now have to definitely see a touch to overturn it, because the call on the court was that it was a touch by one of the corner linesmen.
Yeah, for sure. I think, they definitely have to see a touch, and I guess we'll see in a couple minutes what they decide, or a couple seconds, but
this is such because again, you always have so much activity at the net, and so the question mark again, and the coaches are so spot on these days of looking at it, and I mean, from where we sit, they are so in tune to whether or not there's a touch, and obviously the players will help out. You have to be a little bit careful because the players are a little bit biased, as are the coaches to some degree too, and sometimes they'll say, no, we didn't touch it, and then you go back but again, the other part of it too is, again, you have to definitely see that there is no touch here in this case. And so again, Linda Kildew going over that. Again, we are here at Bullard Gymnasium, home opener. Boy, how about this for a weekend in Pullman? Soccer across the way, they're in action. We've got volleyball here at the Cougar Challenge. Soccer will be back in action on Sunday. Of course, the Battle of the Palouse on Saturday. This is really the first full home weekend here at Washington State University.
It is, and last week was our first week of school, this week going into our second week, so I think it's been a really good way to kind of ease into the semester a little bit, being able to have our first week of classes, and now being able to have so many amazing activities to go on for the students this weekend. I know a lot of people are really excited about the football game. That should be really interesting, but I'm more interested in the volleyball game, so.
That's where we're at, right? It's the kickstart of the weekend, along with soccer across the way. Linda Kildew, again, wanting, I think, one more angle to look at it. Again, you've got about 4 or 5 different angles that they can look at, and Linda Kildew coming over now to discuss things with the official scorekeepers, and we will see what they decide here, and they're going to give it to Washington State. So a good challenge by Jen Greeny. It's going to be no touch, so instead of 3-2, it ends up being a side out to Washington. So actually it's a point to Washington State because Julia was serving. So 4-1 Washington State here on a very good challenge by the Cougar coaching staff.
That's one thing that I always love about Jen is how she uses her challenges just so smartly and strategically. So it clearly worked out, and I think that was an ace right there. So
Cougars so far this season, as they had a bunch of aces against Ryder, pick up their 18th ace of the season. That one from Julian Orville, and now another serve with the Cougs up 5-1. There's a good dig by Pia Timmer for Washington State, setting it up to the outside, and Laurie Johnson again able to pick up a kill as she's able to tool it off the opponent and give the Cougs another point, I believe. No, they're saying that it's going over to Cal Baptist, and Jen's going, no. And now the officials are also saying no. Cal Baptist trying to take that one, but not the case. Laurie Johnson was able to touch that one off a Cal Baptist defender. So already here we are 6-1, and 4 of the first 6 kills to Laura. She is really accumulating the numbers early on in this match.
She is on fire. I think it's safe to say she's on fire.
Here comes the tip across and blocked back by Washington State. Another attempt, and it will stay on the Cougar side, but they're able to dig it out, and Pia will send it over. Now to the middle, but another dig by Timmer. Now Laurie Johnson one more time. That one sent across the net, but wide, so make it now 5 kills in 5 swings for Laurie Johnson. First match for the grad transfer here at home in Poland. And I'd say she's accommodating herself quite well.
I'd say so too. She's really fitting in really well with Magda and Pia hitting, and I think she's just doing an amazing job at being able to read the ball and when it's coming over the net and where the sets are going.
Yeah, it's interesting again as the Lancers get a side out and they'll get the serve back. Here we are in 2022, and certainly over the last couple of years, the dreaded words transfer portal has popped up in just about every sport across college athletics. And when all is said and done, I think a lot of people are looking at the transfer portal and going, well, what's going on with Washington State? But I think this coaching staff is happy what they had done in the transfer portal because they like Jansen. Obviously, Young is fitting in very nicely. So the Cougs will pick up a side out and make it 8-2. They were able to pick up a couple of other key players. And so, again, what we have here with Laura is not only somebody who's seen pick up 5 kills already, but she can play anywhere and do anything on this volleyball court.
Oh, no, she definitely can. And I think that's
a 6 rotation player. The Cougs want to make sure that she doesn't serve out of rotation here, so she'll head back in, and it will be Pia Timmer who's going to head to the service line. Pia Timmer, by the way, 1 kill shy of 900 in her career. The big number that everybody always talks about is 1,000, but getting closer to another milestone. And there's Magda Halasheva. Not much gets past her in the middle of the net, and the 6'3" senior out of the Czech Republic is able to put that one away. And again, that's part of that experience coming back for this Cougar team in both Magda and Pia.
For sure. I mean, Magda was Pac-12 Freshman of the Year in 2019, and she's lived up to that 2-time All-American. And so same with Pia, 2-time. But they're both just so dominant anywhere on the court, really. And it's been fun. And, the really cool thing to me is Pia might be only 1 away from 900, but she still has
all season.
Yeah,
she'll get to 1,000 and beyond as long as she's good to go like she has been, and we're expecting that. So, again, just that nice round number we're all looking at. Christine Graff, the last kill for Cal Baptist to give them another point. 9-3 Washington State is, again, just getting things rolling here for the home opener. Magda going to put one away, and there, again, is that chemistry from Argentina. And, again, Argentina fitting in as the setter for this team. And although we haven't seen her do it in Cougar colors, she's got a lot of setting experience for her home country.
She does, yeah, she does. She didn't. I think she subbed in a little bit last year and set it, but not very much. But There she goes.
There she goes on the offensive side of things, and she'll pick her spots. Yeah, with a lot of injuries last season, had to come in and be an attacker for Washington State. But the Cougars off to a good start here. We're approaching the midway point in set number one. It's Washington State up 11-3 as a timeout taken by Cal Baptist, so we'll take it with them. It's opening set action from the home opener in Pullman, 11-3 Washington State. This is Cougar Volleyball on Pac-12+. 12-3 Washington State as the Cougars come back, and we're back at you here as again it's opening set action. Washington State with the lead, a service there from Magda Yahalasheva there, and it's now 12-4 Washington State. Again, getting this home portion of the season underway. The Cougars will be on the road for the better part of the next month. As a matter of fact, their next home match won't be until the third weekend of Pac-12 play as a serve on the way from that way as the Cougars will get the immediate side out. You're going to see Jasmine Martin picking up a kill there. Jasmine coming in and filling in at that tournament in BYU, and in the opening match, Jasmine came in for Shea Rubright, and boy, she immediately was a big factor from the front of the net for Washington State.
She was, and she also did have a career-high game in a couple areas, which it's the first game of this match of the season, so I can't wait to see what she's going to do this season in Pac-12 play. I mean,
coming off of the injury last season and looks to be completely healthy, and just to see her growth potential and what she can realize over the course of the season.
No, for sure. I think there's a couple players that you see the potential, but it's just a matter of seeing them play. And again, I said it, but this team's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year and probably next year too.
There's Katie Ryan, part of the future for Washington State. Made some noise, obviously, as a freshman last year, and the now sophomore from Rathdrum, Idaho, will pick up her first kill, and that'll make it 15-4 Washington State. So, again, the Cougars off to a tremendous start here in set number one. A side out on the service there. We'll give it back over to Cal Baptist. Again, the Lancers making their way here to Pullman as we get ready for the first all-time meeting here in Cougar and Lancer volleyball history, as they'll bring in a substitution. As in off the bench for them will come Brianna Young, a 5'9" sophomore from San Diego. Here's the set to the middle for Katie Ryan, who rotated to that spot. Now the set to the right, and getting a kill for Cal Baptist that time is Misha Rolla, 5'11" junior out of Poland, as the Cal Baptist team has got a couple of Poland natives on their roster, and so with that, they are able to get back-to-back points for the first time in a while, and it's now 15-6. There's Johnson one more time. She goes up the line, and she has been the primary source of points and offense for either side in this opening set. How about 6 kills already for Johnson?
I'm just in awe watching these women play. I mean, I don't know really what else to say. She's been really fun to watch tonight, and she was pretty fun. a little bit over the weekend, but tonight she's just absolutely dominating. It's been insane.
17-6 now as Washington State finishes off the point that she was serving, but again, had a very nice weekend in Provo, but this time is really being the star so far of the proceedings in the opening set. Set to the outside, a nice block at the net by Washington State. Over it will come back to the Cougar side. Basham forced to set. Timmer trying to finish it off, but an overpass from Cal Baptist. Another block back. Again, the Cougars will cover. Pia, another attempt. And now from the right side, going cross court. Johnson there with the dig. And now Katie Ryan finishes it off. So we've seen Laura do it at the net with 6 kills, but now doing it from the back row as well to keep that point alive. And then the Cougars will ultimately get the points and now make it 18-6 Washington State.
Like you were saying, she's an all-around player. She can play front, back, serve. So I think it's going to be a key to just let her do what she can do on the court, and it's going to get us points, and it has so far tonight.
How about that quick hitter for Jasmine Martin, who's having a good rotation in the front. Another timeout taken by Cal Baptist. The Cougars, well, they had a record-setting performance against Ryder. We're early going so far in this one, but how about the Cougs hitting 600 to this point? They're off to a 19-6 lead in the opening set, and we're back in just a bit. It's Cougar Volleyball on Pac-12+. Well, back here to Pullman, 19-6. Washington State with the lead over California Baptist. As again, the Cougars with the serve. The Cal Baptist team has now taken both of their timeouts, the Lancers have, and now Washington State trying and make quick work of them, but there's an attacking error. And with that, it's going to be a side out over to Cal Baptist here, but still 19-7 Washington State. But again, been talking about the grad transfer in Laurie Johnson, and again, if you look at her numbers over the course of her time at Arkansas Little Rock, first we're back into action here. There's an attempt from the back row, but that was a little too far to reach that time for Shreen Dalway, and that'll be an attacking error. But again, with her time in the Sun Belt Conference at Arkansas Little Rock, again, a first-team All-Sun Belt Conference member in 2021. And when you look at her overall numbers as far as her career there, again, just tremendous numbers that include almost 1,100 kills for her at Arkansas Little Rock. And again, to have that 6-rotation player who can be in there all the time for you, and you just don't have to worry about that spot opposite Pia, as obviously when Pia's in the back row, she'll be the outside hitter. When it rotates and all of a sudden Laura's in the back row, Pia's in the front row, it's just, you got your 2 outside hitters, and you don't have to worry a bit about them because they both bring so much experience to the table.
No, for sure, and I think it's really important too that you watch how much chemistry they have with Argentina, especially since that's who's going to be setting to them. And I feel like Argentina just has such a smooth transition to set them up for an attack or a kill, and they also read the ball and where her sets are going to go extremely well. Both of them do. And I feel like that's super important for outside hitters and middle blockers as well.
Cougs hitting .500 so far. Haven't had much need for the block to get going because they've been efficient hitting, but one block for Washington State. As we bring that up, they almost pick up the second, but kept alive. Dallway sends it over. Now it'll be Washington State, a free ball back over to California Baptist. Set to the middle. That one will bounce off the net and will fall in. That'll be a kill for Chandler Gorman, the redshirt senior out of Houston, Texas, and a point goes the Lancers' way, and it's now 21-9. Again, this tournament here, the Cougars have got a trip to Fairfield, Connecticut next weekend, so they'll be on the East Coast, and then a big-time couple of matches in Minneapolis before they open up Pac-12 play. Dallway, and that one is stamped return to sender by Magda Halasheva, picking up another block. So she will pick up that block. We mentioned the Cougars had a block earlier. Magda for herself now with her first block, and that now moves her into a tie with Taylor Mims on the all-time list at Washington State. And she's now tied for 5th all-time in Cougar history as far as most blocks in Cougar history. Another side out for Cal Baptist. It's now 23-9, but just to kind of expand on that point from Magda Halasheva, 437 total blocks now. And Taylor Mims, who played her 2015 to 2018, she's tied with her for 4th all-time. Another attacking error for the Lancers, and the Cougars have put this one into cruise control in the opening set, now up 24-9.
You know, in their match against Ryder, they only held Ryder to under 10 points every match. I think 10 was the max that they had in the second set. So if this is a preview of what's to come in the next 2 sets, I think it's going to be pretty cool to see WSU now do that within a week of each other.
So, chance to wrap up the first set, and Pia Timmer will get it done with that kill. And that will indeed be kill number 900 for the senior out of Germany. She'll pick up her first kill of the set. It was, again, Laurie Johnson who picked up the most kills in the opening set with a half a dozen, but that one will finish it off for Washington State. The Cougars take opening set action here from California Baptist. Washington State 25. California Baptist 9. We'll step aside, then we'll get you ready for the second set here from Pullman. It's next, and you're listening and watching Cougar Volleyball from the Cougar Challenge in Pullman on Pac-12 Plus.
Because they're not playing another Pac-12 team, but you might want to practice trying to be like third-party neutral
Had a pretty good opening set for California Baptist, and she finished with 4 kills and hit 333. So again, Washington State up 1-0, and we'll see if the Lancers, who again coming off their first win of the season last week, and can get things going here in the second set.
We'll see, but I think the kills that the teams had speak for itself, and I think this should be a really exciting second set, and we are just about underway.
Yeah, the numbers all obviously in a 25-9 opening set victory for Washington State, all leaning towards Washington State. There's an attempt for California Baptist. The touch will be ruled, and that will go down as a kill for California Baptist, so they'll draw first blood here. But in that opening set, 16 kills, only 1 attacking error for Washington State as they hit 484. Meanwhile, for Cal Baptist, they were 6-6 and 30 in that opening set, so 0 was their attacking percentage. Now we're underway with Cal Baptist serving on a 1-0 lead. They'll keep the point alive and set it to the outside, and a point there for Shireen Dalway as the senior out of France will pick up a kill, and so she will add to Cal Baptist's total. So the one thing Cal Baptist needed to do really after that opening set was try and get off to a good start here in the second set.
For sure, and they've definitely done that. Let's see. Jasmine Martin with the tip over, or a kill, I guess they call one. But yeah, they need to get off to a good set. But this WSU team has always been really good at coming back, and even if they have a slow start to a momentum, they can shift it really quickly. And I think that's really key for them to be able to kind of come back from the 2-point deficit and come back and win the set.
Chandler Gorman getting the kill for Cal Baptist, so 3-1 in favor of the Lancers. Again, opening set to Washington State, 25-9. Again, just starting set number 2 here this evening. First match of the Cougar Challenge is a tip over, but pancaked up by the Lancer libero. Then an attempt block back. One more attempt, one more block from Washington State, and that time Jasmine Martin there at the net as the Cougars will pick up their 3rd block of the night. We'll see if there's another player that gets an assist, but again, Jasmine's been solid so far here in this one for Washington State.
She has, and as you mentioned, coming off an injury from last year to now playing and being kind of another dynamite player that can kind of play all over the court. Has been lots of attacking error on the Lancers, but Jasmine Martin's been pretty key for the last couple of games and matches, and I think she's going to keep being a key player in the matches to come.
Yeah, you look at what she's been able to do, adding that depth to the middle position for Washington State, is again finding her way back from that injury and off to a good start here the first couple weeks of the season. Free ball here for the Lancers, and I guess the Cougars actually backing into the net as Magda makes contact there, and on the net violation, a point to Cal Baptist. 4-3 Lancers on top. Cougars will be back in action tomorrow for a couple of matches, as they will be back tomorrow afternoon and then wrap up the Cougar Challenge tomorrow night for them, as that'll give them Saturday off to enjoy the football. Set to the outside for Pia Timmer, and that'll get through, and a point for Washington State to even things up at 4 apiece. So again, the tremendous start for Washington State propelled them out to that huge lead, and then they just never took their foot off the accelerator in the first set and ended up winning 25-9. So far, equal footing here in the second set as we're tied at 4 apiece. Dalway from the right this time, punches it over. Pass right at the net. Good get by Argentina to allow P to tip it over. Now Dalway with the attack. An overpass. Dalway tries to put it away and will. So again, Dalway, one of the leading attackers on this Cal Baptist team. Her and Graff and Dennison leading the way in their opening weekend in Charleston Southern, where they went 1-2, picking up the victory in their last match. Now Timmer trying to go cross court. There's going to be a net violation against Cal Baptist, so 5 apiece. We're talking a little bit about the non-conference schedule. Again, Fairfield, Connecticut, so that's a long road trip next weekend. And then the following week, 2 really good opponents in Pepperdine and Minnesota to get you ready for Pac-12 action if you're Washington State.
It is, and I think it's a really good opener to go to Pac-12, coming into 2 very good programs that are very good in their own respective conferences. And they open to get in for Pac-12 play too. The Pac-12 has been increasingly getting more and more competitive in volleyball, and I think this year is going to be a very interesting one to see where the cards kind of lie for WSU and everyone else in the Pac-12.
Of course, the schedule, just like it has been in recent years, is Magda will get the kill, and we're even again. It's now 6 apiece. The Cougars will open up their season and end their season against the Huskies, so that will be the first Pac-12 match, and then again, there's 2 opponents that you play only once in the conference, and it happens that opening weekend and that final weekend. And it happens to be the LA schools for Washington State. Tip over from Cal Baptist. Laurie Johnson trying to get another kill, but dug out by the Lancers. We'll keep on going. A little bit of a late go after that one for Timmer, so a side out, and Cal Baptist again seesaws back in front 7-6, but it'll be USC and UCLA. They open up the season at Seattle to take on the Huskies, and then the trip immediately that weekend to take on USC down in Los Angeles, and then the following weekend on the road as well. So the first 4 conference matches on the road for the Cougars.
Yeah, I do think, however, I mean, last year we played UW here, and that was an amazing, really exciting match, and I think, you know, if the Cougs can play really well against UW, I think that's going to be really telling on how they can play in the Pac-12. And UW's projected to place pretty high in the Pac-12, so I think as long as WSU can keep everyone healthy and keep everyone able to play and just keep practicing the digs, attacks, and kills, I think it'll be really impactful for them. And yeah, the LA schools, hold on one second.
Basham to the right side for Katie Ryan. That one into the net, and a point for Washington State, 8-7. Again, the LA schools kind of, again, as you look at the Pac-12 conference, it's loaded with talent once again. You see that the Cougars are right there in the middle of the conference as far as preseason projections and where they sit amongst teams either getting into the top 25 or receiving votes in the top 25. But again, you play 10 at home and you play 10 on the road, so you just happen to open, and that was a kill from Jasmine Martin to put one away for Washington State. And the Cougars now starting to get a little bit of a traction here as they've opened up a 9-7 lead and have scored the last 3. You start with 4 straight on the road, but at the same time it's then backloaded with a lot of home matches late in the Pac-12 conference season.
Yeah, and they do end right before football Apple Cup, so it's Apple Cup week for everybody, and I think that's a really important week for them to be able to end Pac-12 and then get ready to go into the tournament and postseason. And at the end of the day, this, again, Pac-12 is loaded with talent. This team is also very, very loaded with talent, so it'll be really fun to see. This is far in advance, but who gets on Pac-12 conference team, All-Americans, All-Regions, things like that.
Katie Ryan, cross court, just fits one inside the line. 10-8 Washington State here, so a 2-point Cougar lead. Again, they took the opening set 25-9. The Lancers being much more competitive here in set number 2 as they are at 10-8 so far, almost equaling their total from the opening set already. Dalway tries to get it past the front row, but cannot. We'll have another attack here, and that one again blocked back. Jasmine Martin and Katie Ryan teaming up for what will be the now 4th block of the night for Washington State. So Jasmine Martin, another block put on the board for her, already her 3rd of the night as she leads the Cougars in that category. So 11-8 Washington State, and another serve for the Cougars. Dalway gonna miss that one long, but they rule another touch at the net on the Cougars, so side out back over to Cal Baptist.
I think we're going to see a challenge from Jen Greeny.
All right, so another challenge from the Washington State head coach. Challenged a touch earlier that was ruled against Washington State, and then they went back and looked at it, ruled that it was a no-touch situation. So with that, that call got overturned. So Jen will use her second challenge of the evening here in the second set to try and also get this call overturned. Remember, it was kind of that challenge, and obviously it probably still plays out probably towards Washington State's favor in that opening set, but that kind of got them really rolling, and that's when they were able to open up a big lead against California Baptist.
For sure, and I think it's also important that they played so well together. They played so well together last set, and they were just on fire kill after kill. So I think that was another really important thing as well.
Again, Washington State hitting 500 in set number 1, almost 500 for the match right now. They're 8-2-13, hitting 462 in the set and 477 so far in the matches. Again, Paula Martin in the chair, Linda Kildew down on the ground, and they have come to a decision and reporting what they have seen to the scores table. Maybe one more look at it if they want to take another viewpoint at it. Not seeing anything pop up on our courtside monitor to give you an idea of what we're seeing courtside as far as what the officials might, but the decision made, and they're going to give the point to Washington State. So again, they will overrule it, and now Linda Kildew will go over and talk with Brendan Higa and explain to him what she saw on the video. And again, that is a second straight call that's been overturned here. Jen and her coaching staff may be not happy that they've had to use 2 challenges already, but 2 for 2 so far on their challenges.
Hey, that's a good percentage.
Can't get any better than that unless I guess you go 3 for 3. So again, 12-8, Washington State is the point given to the Cougars, and you can make it 3 in a row for Washington State. They've now scored 6 of the last 7. A lot of time to wait for the Cougars at the service line, so that one's sent a little bit long, and on the service air, it will head back over to California Baptist. The Cougars a couple of aces so far. That becomes their 4th service error. Meanwhile, neither an ace or a service error for California Baptist to this stage. Katie Ryan going cross court to pick up a kill, and we mentioned Lauer in the opening set, but Katie Ryan is starting to have herself a fine match as well. She's got 6 kills. And again, this is something that we certainly saw at times last year with Washington State, and I think is probably going to be something that we're going to see throughout this season as well as Basham serves, is you might see different players on different nights lead that kill board, because again, they've just got talent across the board. One night it might be Timmer, one night it might be Johnson, one night it might be Katie Ryan, and the fact that you have that depth is what makes them such a complete team that's battling for what is their 7th consecutive trip to the tournament.
No, for sure. And Basham is such a critical part of this team, and her serves are incredible. And she's also just everywhere on the court trying to make sure that the ball gets saved and over the net. So again, like you're just saying, their depth is incredible, and I think that's something that some Pac-12 schools don't necessarily have, but WSU's lucky that they do have that.
Pia Timmer, cross-court kill, getting the point for Washington State, now 14-10. We've got now 4 players for Washington State, all with 4 kills or more here at about the midway point of set number 2. Johnson was 7, Ryan was 6, and 4 apiece from Timmer and Jasmine Martin. Meanwhile, that'll be ruled 4 contacts as the attempt to clear the net unable to for California Baptist. So a point Washington State's way, and it's now 15-10. So the Cougs up 5 here, as again they took the opening set 25-9 and lead this match 1-0. Galway tips it across on the first one to touch it. Now it'll be Timmer. A nice dig that time by Johnstone. Galway with the attack. Now the set for Pia Timmer, and a good block by Galway, and also there for California Baptist was Ashlyn Nervla, and they will pick up their first block of the set, and it's now 15-11 on a good job at the net that time by California Baptist.
For sure. I think the way that Cal Baptist has started to block in this second set is been pretty impressive to see, just because of how hard the WSU players hit and how on top of the blocks they are. But for Cal Baptist to kind of adjust to that is really important for them to get points on the board.
Magda picking up the last kill for Washington State. They'll get the side out. 16-11 now in favor of the Cougars. So attacking error, making it 16-12, or I should say a service error for Washington State. So again, the Cougars with a 25-9 victory in set number one. This set a lot more competitive, and it's still a Washington State lead, but 16-12 here in set number two. Blocked back by Cal Baptist, hit back across by Argentina Ung, and then cleared back to the Cougar side. Now Magda Halasheva gets it through the block, and another kill for Magda. She's now up to 5 on the night to go along with her 2 blocks. And Washington State out to a 5-point lead. One of the 2 senior All-Americans that have returned for another go-around for Washington State. And there's an ace from Magda Halasheva, and the Cougars now with an 18-12 lead. Magda, of course, was a real big pickup of her service game last year. That's her 3rd ace of this season. Good dig that time by Norval, albeit an overpass. Now the attack coming, partially blocked at the net by the Cougars. A tip over, dug out, but across the net and out of bounds, and it's now 19-12. So remember, this was a 7-7 tie at one point, but the Cougars have now gone on a 12-5 run and have scored the last 3, and the Cougars looking to go up 2 sets to none here tonight. They took the first set 25-9. They now lead the second set 19-12. You're listening and watching Cougar Volleyball right here on Pac-12 Plus. Go ahead.
I swear a little kid like threw a jelly bean and hit my head like headset or something. Okay.
Can kind of throw you off a little bit.
A little bit. I wasn't expecting that.
19-12, Washington State, as we are in set number 2 tonight. Home opener for Washington State from Bowler Gymnasium, as the Cougars trying to start off the home portion of the season with a victory and off to a good start, up a set and leading 19-12. A little fortunate there for Jasmine Martin, caught the net on the way by, and then the deflection, nobody for Cal Baptist can get to it, so that'll be another point for Washington State, and now the 5th kill of the night for Jasmine Martin. 4 Cougs with 5 kills or more so far. 20-12 our lead for the Cougars. And there's an efficient attack that time. And that'll be Misha Rolla getting the point for California Baptist, as she will get the side out and the Lancers will get the serve back.
I think it's really important when you're looking at both teams what their serve, how they serve. You notice WSU has a lot more of a jump and serve, where Cal Baptist seems to be more on the ground. So I think it's really interesting when you look at the different ways that they serve and their different forms, and then their service errors or aces. I think that's always been super interesting to me watching volleyball.
Yeah, for the Cougars had a really good service game last season. There's an overpass, speaking of the good serve, and that's the other thing right there is Argentina's not going to get an ace for that one, but it was her serve that set that up because the overpass, and then Jasmine Martin puts it away. And now a chance for the Cougars to head to the bench and give some players some time in, and the transfer out of Baylor, Molly Kipp, the setter from Phoenix, Arizona, is going to make her way in and now take over for Argentina and serve. And how about a ace from Molly Kipp? So right off the bench, right into the lineup, and right away an ace. And for Molly Kipp, that'll be her first ace as a Washington State University Cougar.
Her first ace and her first move in bowler. So I think that's just so cool when things like that happen, where it's first game, first play.
She was able to get in Provo for a bit, but again, as you mentioned, her bowler gymnasium debut, another good serve, and then Jasmine again trying to put away the overpass. This time it caught the net, and Jasmine, although happy with the kill, also knows she got a little bit fortunate as well, as it wasn't the cleanest of hits, but it still ends up off of California Baptist and a point for Washington State. So set point Cougars here at 24-13. The cross-court attempt, a good dig by Basham across the net. Now set for Cal Baptist. Kipp comes up for the dig. Now Johnson trying to put it away, but the Lancers will keep it going. They will hit it over. Kipp to the outside for Johnson. Dug out momentarily. Free ball coming now for Washington State. Kipp to the right side now for Katie Ryan, and that'll do it for set number 2. Well, it was all Washington State in the first set, 25-9. Meanwhile, it's 25-13 Washington State here in the second set. So 2-0 in favor of the Cougars, and Washington State, after being tied at 7 apiece, outscored Cal Baptist 18-6 the rest of the way. So again, Cougars up 2-0 as the teams level the locker room. And then we'll be back to give you some numbers from the first 2 sets and get you ready for set number 3. It's next. Washington State leading 2-0. And this is Cougar Volleyball on Pac-12+. Again, you go back to a week ago, and it was 25-11, 25-9, 25-9 over Ryder, and they hit 554, which was a program best hitting percentage for Washington State. Not quite there here so far today, but hitting 475, so once again, a very efficient attack for the Cougars here tonight.
Very efficient. I mean, 2 players have 8 kills, one has 7.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Argentina is you see her visiting with Katie Ryan before we get this third set going, and she has kind of spread the wealth so far here today, hasn't she?
And again, I think the key for WSU is being able to read where Argentina is going to set the ball. And same thing with Molly, being so comfortable with your setters that you just can read and know, and being able to spot a hole in the opponent and know where it's gonna. Like that.
Just like that, right up the middle. Jasmine Martin reading that set. And speaking of Jasmine Martin, she may, by the end of the day, have a career high in another category. Got it in blocks the opening weekend of the season. Now has her 9th kill in only 10 swings. She's hitting 900 so far for the match and opens up the third set with a point and a kill for Washington State. And now Cal Baptist comes back. Christine Graff, who is led the way for them tonight, picks up her 5th kill, and she's had a pretty good night for the Lancers. She's hitting 235 and has led the way for them, and that'll even up this third set at 1 apiece.
It's a good save by Carly right there.
That one's going to catch a piece of the floor, so point going to Washington State, and with that a 2-1 lead for the Cougars. And Washington State taking the opening set 25-9. We were tied at 7 in the second set, but the second half of the set was all Washington State. They outscored Cal Baptist 18-6, the final 24 points. It's a deflection, a good get by Johnson in the back row. Now Timmer on the attack, dug out by the Lancers. Free ball here for Washington State now. Timmer again on the attack, and now if Pia starts to get going, then it's going to really spell some bad news for the Lancers. Again, you've got now 5 with 5 kills or more on the attack for Washington State, and you're not used to seeing Pia being the last one out of 5 getting to 5 kills, but shows how complete everybody else has been here tonight.
No, definitely, and again, having Jasmine Martin back has definitely helped WSU on the floor, and again, they are so stacked with outside hitters that just want to swing and get kills and attack. If anything, this match has shown that.
Magda Halasheva now from the right-hand side. So again, here in this set for Washington State, just looking at the Cougars and their 4 points so far, just to kind of tell you a little bit of what we're talking about. You have gotten a Jasmine Martin kill, then you ended up with a kill by Katie Ryan, then one by Pia Timmer, and the last one by Magda Halasheva. So 4 kills by 4 separate players for Washington State. And now Argentina chipping in with a block at the net, and it's 5-2 Washington State. So that's 5 different players that have accumulated for the 5 points so far here. I mean, obviously everybody does, but statistically, in this set, as far as who finishes off the point, it's been 5 separate players for Washington State. So, again, seeing everybody get involved. We mentioned Jasmine Martin, her 9 kills. By the way, that is a career high for her already, as she has continued to be very good in this match, and not only good as far as the amount of kills, but again, as efficient as she has been. 9 kills in what's been so far only 10 swings. Now it's going to be Johnson, who started this match off with 6 kills, has gotten 4 so far here since the opening set, and she becomes the first Cougar to double digits. So she's now up to 10 on the night. And I'm sorry, that was 9 for her, so she's now tied with Jasmine Martin.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how those two continue the season, especially with Magda and Pia, and it'll be really interesting to see how the stats play out. But I think either way, you're going to see 4 very, very good players attack-wise.
There's a ball that ends up on the line. A very nice serve from California Baptist. They will get their first ace of the night, and that ace is going to go the way of Nia Giroux as she'll get the ace, the outside hitter from Orange, California. Cougars will play the deflection off the net off that serve. Jasmine tips it over. Now it's Argentina Ung on the attack, but the block will come this time from California Baptist and Chandler Gorman there to get it. The Lancers have gotten back to even at 6 apiece. So again, we saw this a bit in the second set, where early on in the set, California Baptist was going for point, but then the Cougars would take control. Again, even at 6 here now in set number 3. Another tip across, and that one will fall in for Cassidy Dennison. And she'll pick up her third kill. Again, Dennison, Galway, and Graff leading the way last weekend on the attack for California Baptist. And doing it again here today, Graff with 5. Dennison's got her third kill, and Galway has got a couple as well. So 7-6, California Baptist with the lead, and now playing some of their best volleyball of the match so far. They're going to go on what's now a 5-0 run and have taken an 8-6 lead over Washington State, and it's been happening with Giroux at the service line. So the most consistent high level of play we've seen from the Lancers so far tonight, and again they've scored 5 in a row. And now Giroux's next serve, who does have a good serve, played well that time by Timmer, and the Cougars will finally get Giroux off the service line and get a side out. But this last 5 minutes is the best we've seen California Baptist look so far tonight.
It is. They've definitely dialed in a little bit more than they have in the first 2 sets, and kind of seen more of the holes in the side of, or WSU side of the court. But we'll see how this rally goes.
It's going to be a tip. It was tipped across that time by Dennison. It then touched a Cougar, then it went off the Cougar into the antenna. So it will be a side out to California Baptist. So they will take a 9-7 lead here. That'll send Gorman to the service line. Now Johnson going up the line to pick up the kill. So she, again, has been the leading attacker for Washington State. The only player so far in double digits in kill. That becomes her 11th. So she continues to be off to not only a good start, but having a tremendous match so far for Washington State. There's the set to the outside for Pia Timmer. Dug out by the Lancers. Dennison hits it over, the overpass, and there to put it away will be Cal Baptist one more time. They're able to get the kill, and that time it was Valeska who was in the middle of the net to get the kill for the Lancers, and they're out to a 10-8 lead. So again, their strongest set so far here from Cal Baptist, trying to pick up a set victory, but the Cougars trying to get this one done in straight sets. And there's the service there, and we'll head back over to Washington State for the serve.
That service error may have just given the Cougs the momentum they need to win this set.
Now at the service line, Carly Basham. Set to the outside, cross-court attempt. Pinballs off a couple of Cougars, and across the net it will go. Now a tip over, the Katie Ryan will play. From the back row, Laurie Johnson continues her good play from every spot on the court so far, and that will now be kill number 12 for her on the night. So again, had herself a nice weekend in Provo, but this has been the most complete we've seen her at all as a Washington State University Cougar, and has brought the Cougars even at 10 apiece. Set to the middle, dug out across the net. Magda going to try and cut it away, but Valeska there for the block. Now Timmer, block back again, but covered by Basham. Now Katie Ryan tips it over, pancaked up. And we've got our best rally of the match so far on this point. Comes back to the outside, another hit across, and It'll be a point to California Baptist, and getting the point for them, it is going to be Cassidy Dennison, who has played well here in the third set, and they will seesaw back in front. It's now 11-10. So an 11-10 lead. There's the serve. The outside for Timmer. Another good dig by the Lancers. A big swing, but block back. Another block from Washington State. Another answer from the Lancers, and back over to the Cougars. Katie Ryan up the line. There's an overpass. Basham setting for Pia Timmer.
So far, a great rally between the Lancers and the Cougs.
Yeah, finally put away by Washington State. But we've had a couple, but that one probably the longest of the match. And it's Katie Ryan and Maggie Alasheva getting it done at the net for the Washington State Cougars.
The two of them seem to be blocking very, very well together, which is really great to see going into more competitive tournaments these next 2 weekends, or these next 2 weeks. But it's been really great to see Katie Ryan also blocking with some seniors that have had a major impact on this team.
And there's a good job by the setter, Argentina Ung, putting it away as she will get the kill for Washington State. So 12-11 in favor of Washington State here, as they will get the point, and the serve will head over to Washington State one more time. Cougars, by the way, at the net, 7-2 leading the blocking statistics, and they will add another one with Pia Timmer and Magda Halasheva teaming up for that one. It was a match that started up with not very many blocks for Washington State, but they were attacking so efficiently they just didn't need the block early going. But you know, being a former middle blocker herself, Jen Greeny, she's going to want that number always to be high on her teams, and they've statistically been a very good blocking team. And as we bring it up, there's yet another one for Washington State. So now they've really got it going. 9 blocks to 2 in favor of Washington State. The last one to Magda Halasheva. She's moved past Taylor Mims on the all-time list here tonight in Cougar history for most blocks. And the Cougars looking for a sweep tonight over California Baptist, now leading 14-11 in the third set. And we'll be back with more of the third from Bowler Gymnasium in Pullman, Washington, the home opener on Pac-Pro Plus. Well, 14-11, Washington State with the lead here as we're in third set action. Washington State taking the opening 2 sets over California Baptist, cruising in the first set 25-9, then took the second set 25-13. California Baptist a lot more competitive, but boy, the Cougars have got their block going in the last 5 to 10 points. They've added 4 to 5 blocks in that time frame, and there's another from that front wall for Washington State.
You have Magda and Pia together just blocking constantly the Cal Baptist attempts, but unfortunately not a lot for Cal Baptist. Not a lot have been able to come over the net, but Julia's also in the back serving, doing really well serve-wise. And unfortunately WSU did just hit that. They tipped it out of bounds. Did you see? I'm not sure I saw what happened over there.
They were able to get one up the line. Julia thought about going for it, and I think decided to let it go, and it did catch the line, so that'll get her off the service line. The serve back over to California Baptist. Now Pia Timmer putting that one away. So Pia will pick up her 6th kill. But again, we were talking about the blocking statistic. The Cougars now leading that category 10-2. Magda's got a half a dozen. Argentina, Pia Timmer, and Jasmine Martin all with 3 apiece when it comes to blocks for Washington State. Up the line, but this time missing wide on the attacking error for the Lancers. And a point to Washington State to now make it 17-12. Again, the Cougars out hitting California Baptist 447-035. 4 aces to the 1 so far for the Lancers, and out blocking them 10-2. Good dig by Norval. Set outside for Johnson, trying to add to her already Washington State career high of kills. Cougars keep it alive off a foot, a knee, and needed one more touch and couldn't get it, so a side out to California Baptist. Again, Washington State getting home cooking for the first time this season. Home opener here at the Cougar Challenge as the Cougs taking on again a total of 3 teams over a 2-day time frame for them. It's California Baptist here tonight for Washington State. Then they get Belmont tomorrow afternoon. So that comes to the outside, and a block down, roofing it down. Oh, they're going to call a net violation. Carly Basham up and celebrating with the Cougs, but they're going to call this a net violation on Washington State. So the point will go to California Baptist on that one. But just to wrap up real quick, Belmont tomorrow afternoon at 12:30, then 7 o'clock tomorrow night, it'll be Cal State Bakersfield to wrap up the Cougar Challenge for Washington State.
It will be, and one thing I did want to say is you just see the camaraderie among these women and how competitive and how much they want to win. And the seniors on this team have been through a pandemic, playing a very, very, very weird season, and playing a back-to-back season as well, and now being able to have no restrictions their senior year and being able to play together, I think has just really built this team and the bond of this team up quite a bit.
Mackenzie Miloski, she saw some time in Provo in the match against the Ryder Bronx. She'll come in for Magda here, so she'll share that spot in the rotation. She'll come back and serve and play the back row. Has a good serve there, but for the Lancers, they're able to get the point. Chandler Gorman with it. Meanwhile, Jen Greeny wanting to check on something at the bench. So again, just double checking on something, perhaps the libero and where we're at there, but Miloski will stay in. Here's the set for Johnson. That one dug out though by the Lancers. Set to the back row. Now it'll be a Pia Timmer back row attack, but a block this time by the Lancers. Going up to get that one, Nisha Rolla and also Chandler Gorman, 3rd block of the night for California Baptist. And now here comes the substitution, as again, they were asking down on the bench about whether or not Magda had to officially come back in before you were able to get the libero. Now they get that done to allow Basham back into the contest. Nemo a side out back over to the Cougars. Washington State up 2-0 here, and again leading in the 3rd set 19-6. It's been another efficient night for Washington State, hitting .422. Again, dominated at the net. 3 blocks for the Lancers, 10 for Washington State. But Lancers have played a little bit better as this match has gone along. Again, it was all Washington State in the first set, 25-9. And we saw them in each of the last 2 sets kind of be equal over the first 10 points or so. And this time hanging around with Washington State a little bit more here in the 3rd set. Now Washington State subbing some here in the 3rd set, but give the Lancers some credit for being a little bit more competitive as this match goes along. For sure, the Lancers have definitely picked up their tempo a lot more, and they've been able to get some more points on the board than they have been. And that was a Katie Ryan kill right there, but I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but no, they've definitely been able to pick it up a lot.
and kind of fight for some of that momentum that's always talked about in volleyball matches.
Katie Ryan now with 9 kills, so one already to double digits, the career high at Washington State. Had accumulated more than that at Arkansas Little Rock, but the most in her Cougar career. There's a net violation whistled against Jasmine Martin and a side out over to California Baptist, but a Cougar career high for Laura. She's got 13 kills, but right behind her, Katie Ryan and Jasmine Martin, they're just a kill shy each of getting to double digits themselves. And then Pia Timmer and Magda Halasheva, the 2 All-Americans, with 6 kills apiece. So again, been a well-rounded attack here for Washington State. And a cross-court attempt from Timmer dug out, and another kill for the Lancers. So that one will go the way of Christine Graff, and Washington State has seen their lead go down to now a tenuous 1 late in set number 3. 20-19 our score here. Lancers trying to tie it up, and they're going to on what's going to be an ace. That'll be their second ace of the night, and that one will go the way of Leah Peace, one of the 2 setters in the 6-2 offense, as the Lancers have had both Peace and Reese Reed setting for them. Basham to Ung. Now it'll be Katie Ryan going up the line this time to pick up the kill. So 21-20 Washington State. And a big kill there to try and get this one done in 3 for the Cougars.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that's Katie Ryan's 10th kill of the night.
Yep.
So that's 2 players now in double digits with Jasmine Martin at 9. So there's a strong potential that we have 3 Cougs.
10 or more. There's Timmer. She goes cross-court, picks up the 7th kill of the night. The other thing that's interesting about that is sometimes getting 1 or 2 into double digits can be difficult if you get it done in 3. And again, this is only the 3rd set. Again, the Lancers trying to keep things interesting here. Washington State trying to finish it off in 3 from Pullman in their home opener. And we'll see if they can do it when we return. It's the Cougs up 2 sets to none, leading 22-20. And it's Cougar Volleyball on Pac-12+. Done in 3 straight. It's a 2-0 lead set-wise for Washington State, up 22-20 here in the 3rd. Big block from Washington State, and that'll be Katie Ryan and Magda Yahalasheva, 11th block of the night for the Cougars. For Magda, her 7th. For Katie, her 3rd. So the blocking has really picked up a ton here in the 3rd set, and the Cougars with 3 in a row. Now 2 away from 25, but that is a service error from Basham, and a critical point coming up here for Cal Baptist with the Cougars up 23-21.
Well, they have to win by 2 points no matter what. So if the Cougs can hold Cal Baptist right here and get the ball back, then it should be a sweep for the Cougs. But these next couple of plays are going to be really crucial to how this match is going to end.
Set to the right for the Lancers. That's going to hit the antenna, so an attacking error on Christine Graff, and that will indeed give Washington State match point. And just what Catherine was talking about, that point critical because now the Cougars have 3 cracks at it for match point if needed. Love to get it done right here on point number 1 if you're a Cougar fan, but now Again, the 3-point difference.
Well, especially with Julia behind the line.
And how about a block to finish it off, and a solo block from Magda Yahalasheva, her 8th of the night. The block started slow for Washington State, but they picked that up big time here in the third set and end up out-blocking California Baptist by a 12-3 margin. And the Cougars in this set finished with what was a lot of blocks, and ultimately, again, 12 in the match compared to 3 for California Baptist. And how about Laurie Johnson and what she was able to do today for Washington State? I mean, take a look at her numbers. They were very impressive for the transfer.
They were extremely impressive, and we've hit on it all game, but this is her first time as a Coug in bowler.
Yeah, so again, 13 kills, 23 swings, did not have an attacking error. She hit .565, finished with 13 points. And not only the .565 hitting percentage, she almost had a double-double, 8 digs as well on the night for her.
Yeah, she is. And I definitely think it's so incredibly important going forward into Pac-12 play, hopefully a postseason run, that you have a player that can hit so well, especially joining Katie, Jasmine, now Jasmine, Pia, and Magda, and also being able, again, to be so comfortable with Argentina.
The Cougars in 3 straight, 25-9, 25-13, and 25-21. Again, Laurie Johnson, a Cougar career high of 13 kills and 8 digs, and they finish off a win here in the Cougar Challenge. They improved to 3-1. Meanwhile, Cal Baptist drops to 1-3. It's just the start of the weekend for Washington State. Tomorrow afternoon, they'll take on Belmont. Tomorrow night against Cal State Bakersfield. But the Cougars get it done in 3 straight tonight, winning 25-9, 25-13, and 25-21. We thank you so much for tuning in tonight. For Catherine, I'm Steve. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be back with you at 12:30 when the Cougars take on Belmont. But the Cougars win their home opener here in 2022 from Bowler Gymnasium, and they get it done in 3, winning 25-21 in the final set. Thanks so much for listening to Cougar Volleyball and watching Cougar Volleyball on Pac-12+.